This is today's AEW Collision full show results video, which takes place at Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina, and the show started with a match between FTR vs Big Bill and Brian Cage for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, and the result of this match was FTR defeated Brian Cage and Big Bill by pinfall with the Shatter Machine on Brian Cage to retain the AEW World Tag titles. Post-match, Harwood on the stick says they're gonna get in a little trouble tonight, but they're in the Carolinas. 10 years ago, they set out to be the best tag team in the world, and after listing their accomplishments, they say there's one more thing they need to do, and that's beat the Young Bucks to win their trilogy at Wembley Stadium. Looks like we're getting Young Bucks vs FTR 3 at All In pay-per-view. Tony Schiavone is backstage with Juice Robinson and his Jay White standee, and Switchblade shows up to knock that down. He kicks it to the Guns to clown Schiavone, then they close with some trash talk about his opponent tonight, Metalik. The next match happened between Chris Statlander vs Mercedes Martinez for the TBS Championship, and the result of this match was Chris Statlander defeated Mercedes Martinez via pinfall to retain the TBS title when Martinez getting ready to go for the Brass City Sleeper, but Statlander counters and rolls her up. Martinez is jawing at Smith after the bell, believing she kicked out, and she attacks the champ, which brings out Diamante, who joins in on the beatdown of Statlander, and then Willow Nightingale runs out and the heels exit the ring. Tony Schiavone is backstage with a visibly shaken former Women's World Champion Toni Storm, her hair in curlers and wearing a robe. She says she won't freak out, then proceeds to ask if she's not talented and beautiful anymore, during which she proceeds to freak out, and Tony tried to console her, but she's not interested, and Storm ends the interview and exits. The next match happened between Samoa Joe vs Serpentico, and the result of this match was Samoa Joe defeated Serpentico via submission with the coquina clutch in 10 seconds. Joe gets a microphone to say they have a problem, because he doesn't have a match for Wembley, and he runs through his history with CM Punk, saying while Punk was telling people he was the best in the world, he knew in his heart it was him. He lost the chance to prove that during the Owen Hart tournament, but their legacy deserves more than a roll-up. Joe asks Punk to give him a match at All In, but he's only extending this courtesy for 1 week, and then he'll make Punk give him what he wants. Tony Schiavone is back for a sit-down with the Acclaimed, and Anthony Bowens and Max Caster are sitting here with Billy Gunn's boots, and Bowens said they've spoken to Billy, but he won't take his boots back or change his mind. Schiavone asks if Gunn said why, and Billy told them it's because he blames himself for their losing the tag titles and cost them the trio's belts. They think maybe they failed Gunn though, and they were two guys trying to find themselves on the roster, and he believed in them and made them believe in themselves. They're going to keep fighting, carrying his boots with them to the ring every week. Bowens asks Billy to throw his fingers up on his couch for one last long-distance daddy-s scissoring. The next match happened between House of Black vs Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and Lee Johnson for the AEW Trios Championship, and the result of this match was House of Black defeated Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and Lee Johnson by pinfall to retain the AEW Trios titles. Schiavone is about to talk to Powerhouse Hobbs when Cutie Marshall and Harley Cameron roll up and dismiss the interviewer, and they're here for the family business, making peace with Hobbs, which involves offering him the finest Cuban links and a match at All Out. Powerhouse says he doesn't want anything from them but takes the gold even though they can keep their help with getting him a Chicago booking. After a break, Schiavone is back again with Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and a child that Christian informs us is his own daughter. He's upset about Darby Allin mentoring an 18-year-old child but is interrupted by his daughter asking if she can hold his belt. Cage asks if she won it, and since she didn't he tells her to go find her mother and tell security that she's not credentialed and shouldn't be backstage. The next match happened between Jay White vs Metalik, and the result of this match was Jay White defeated Metalik by pinfall with the Blade Runner finishing move. A rundown of the card for next Wednesday ends with a video package for Anna Jay ahead of her shot at new AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between CM Punk vs Ricky Starks for the real AEW World Championship and Ricky Steamboat the special guest referee, and the result of this match was CM Punk defeated Ricky Starks via pinfall to retain the real AEW World title. Steamboat raised Punk's hand, and they're making their way out of the ring when Starks blasts them both, and Punk goes to the floor and Absolute goes to work on the Hall of Famer, eventually ripping his belt off his pants to whip him before Punk makes the save with a chair. Punk calls for Doc Samson, and Starks makes his way back to the ring with the belt, and Punk leaves the ring to chase him away, throwing the chair at him. The announcers speak in solemn tones about the Dragon's condition, and Punk is incensed, and the show goes off the air.